So, to imagine the level of destruction generated by this eruption, just picture 64 copies of Mount St. Helens erupting right next to each other in 1980. Before Ilopango produced this catastrophic event, Maya known today as the Tierra Blanca Joven eruption, the surrounding area of El Salvador represented the southeasternmost corner of the Mayan civilization. During this period, the Mayan civilization was in the middle of its classical period, its golden age when the culture had its highest population, extent of power and influence, containing dozens of large cities. This included a populated in the six figures in the area of modern El Salvador. Much of this population was clustered in or around larger cities such as San Andres, Chalchuapa, and Cuelepa. However, plenty of other settlements also existed in between them. So, when the destructive Ilopango eruption finally did occur, what exactly happened? There likely were hundreds if not precursor activity, thousands of volcanic earthquakes striking one after the other in the preceding days, only to eventually give way to a continuous tremor which was likely audible. The eruption thereafter started with a few smaller phreatic eruptions, only to be followed by a huge explosion. This gave way to a towering eruption column which soon rose to an altitude of 31 kilometers, but a second portion of the plume rose even higher to altitudes of 49 kilometers or 161,000 feet. As millions of tons of molten rock was ejected every second, pulverized rock, pumice, and ash was ejected high into the air, causing substantial amounts of ash to quickly rain down across the landscape. Then denser material in the eruption plume collapsed back to the ground, generating pyroclastic flows which raced across the landscape at speeds exceeding 150 km per hour. These incinerated everything they touched, burning all vegetation with several hundred degrees Celsius clouds of death. As the eruption continued, likely for at least a full 5 days, around 100,000 people, absolute devastation, largely Mayans, became fatalities. After the eruption ended, this is what remained. Everything in a 40-kilometer radius but up to 65 kilometers away in some directions had been left lifeless, either due to pyroclastic flows or more than 60 centimeters or 2 feet thick of ash having fallen. Yet, expanding outwards, 30,000 square kilometers were covered in such a thick layer of tephra that it made it impossible to grow any crops for decades and in some cases even centuries. As a result, every single regional city was abandoned, with people not returning for abandoned cities between 75 and 200 years. A large migration of survivors occurred to the north and northwest, and in one case, in the city of Carasucia, Mayans would never return as instead a different culture resettled it. This was a major blow to the regional Mayan civilization, which it would take some time to recover from. And this all occurred due to El Salvador's single largest explosive volcanic eruption in a whopping 55,000 years. It truly was unimaginably devastating. As a final note, I would like to thank my new patron Freddie Ladd for supporting my